Hello and welcome back. Some of you requested assistance with paper 1, so here we go. Today we will be focusing on drama. Before we go there, let's just speak about this paper 1 that you have to complete. So you are given 2 hours for this paper and you have 60 questions. 20 in the drama section, 20 in the poetry section, and 20 in the prose section. Before we continue, it is very important to remember that paper 2 is worth 50%. This is the paper where you are required to write 3 essays based on the poems, the stories, the novels, the plays that you have read. Paper 1, the one we are focusing on today, is worth 29% of your overall grade. The remaining 21% comes from your SPA. I'm saying this because you need to understand that even if you are able to get a perfect score on the multiple choice paper, if you do not master the essay writing techniques, it is going to be very difficult for you to achieve a good grade. So if you are still struggling in this area, I have uploaded several videos explaining how to write these essays, and I would advise you to watch them because paper 2 is extremely important. Now, that is not to say that paper 1 is not important because we still have 29% there. Okay? Today we will look at items 1 to 10 from the May-June 2019 paper. This is what the front of your paper will look like. So you see that it has the duration, 2 hours, 10th of May, and all of the instructions are on the cover. Right. So before we read the excerpt today, here is a very helpful tip from wise teachers everywhere. When you are writing that exam, read the excerpt at least 3 times. Do not read once and then go straight into the questions. You're going to make a mistake unless you are a genius, right? Read it 3 times. Read it twice and then read the questions. Then read the excerpt again. Do not think that this will cause you to waste time. It's going to help you to answer these questions more effectively because the first time that you read something, it's very likely that you will miss something. It even happens to us teachers. So read 3 times. Here we go. So this is what it looks like. This is just one page, which I added here to explain a few things, but I have retyped the excerpt so that it looks more visually appealing. Here we have the stage directions. They are always italicized. And we have the names of the characters and the line numbers. Often you will be asked to refer to a particular line in the excerpt, and the numbers here just make it much easier to do that. When you're reading, also remember that it was written, well, the intention was for this to be acted on a stage. So you can even picture the actors on a stage speaking and performing the various actions that you see in the stage directions. It will make it a lot more exciting. So I am not going to read this 3 times, but what you can do is pause it, read 3 times. Then I will pause briefly after reading each multiple choice question to give you a chance to answer. So you can get a piece of paper and you can write your answers as we go along, and then you can check whether or not they were correct. Okay? So let's go. Moses is in Waterloo Station, London. There is a confused, milling mob of West Indians waiting for the boat train. Moses is sitting on a bench when a Jamaican friend, Tolroy, comes up. Hey, Moses, I didn't expect to meet you in Waterloo for arrivals. The next time will be my departure, please God. The boat train late. Who you meeting? Some fella named Henry. Boy, I expected my mother. All you fellas really have guts, yes, Tolroy. Where you going to put she in that 2 before you have in Harbour Road? I have to look for a bigger place. You know any? Look, one of your Jamaican countrymen over there waiting like a hawk for tenants. He have a lot of houses in Brixton. You know what that setup like? A chair, a table, and he hitting you anything from 3 to 5 guineas. You try down by Ladbroke Grove? Since they killed Kelso, English people been evacuating like Dunkirk from that area. You bound to get a room. Down there too grim. What you want? Belgravia? Park Lane? And I will pause briefly. You notice the little number here. This indicates that there is a footnote which will explain what Belgravia Park Lane is. So you go to the bottom of your excerpt and you see that it's referring to affluent neighborhoods. So those are neighborhoods where very wealthy people live. And then he says maybe you could put she up at the Dorchester till you find a place. So to find out what Dorchester is, we check number 2 at the bottom. Here, it's a luxurious hotel in London, England. So he's sort of laughing at his friend, you know. The station loudspeaker announces the arrival of a boat train. An English reporter comes up to them. Excuse me, sir, have you just arrived from Jamaica? Yes. I'm from the Echo. Would you like to tell me what conditions are like? Tolroy, who is enjoying the situation. Yes, Moses, go on and tell him. Well, the situation is desperate as usual. You know that big hurricane it had a few weeks ago? Yes. Well, I was in that hurricane. You could ask my friend here if you think I lie. I was sitting down in my mansion when suddenly I look up and see the sky. What do you think happened? What? Hurricane blew the roof clean off. Banana plantation lay down as if they gone sleep. Tell me, sir, why are so many Jamaicans coming to England? Do you believe the streets are paved with gold? I don't know about all of them, but sometimes in the night I see as if the Bayswater Road sparkling with diamonds. But then you look in truth, you see is only stones and gravel that mix up with asphalt. You know of any London street what paved with gold? Thank you for that statement. I'll just talk to a few others. Chuckling, watch him, like he going to tackle that family what coming off the train. In consternation, that look like my mother, and Aunt Auntie, and Agnes, and Louis, and the 2 children. Ma, look me over here. As he gets near them, panting. What is this all? Tolroy, boy, you don't remember your own mother? In a daze. But what Auntie doing here, ma? And Agnes, and Louis, and the children? Right, so, again I said I will read the question. I will pause to let you answer on your own, and then you can check your answer with me. The setting is most likely an airport, a train station, an old boat train, a house in London. A train station. Next. Moses' description of Tolroy's dwelling as a 2B4, line 9, indicates to the audience that it is a, and remember I told you about line numbers, so it's very easy to go back and find line 9. You see you have 10 here, so you know that this is 9. Where are you going to put she in that 2B4 you have in Harrow Road? So you tell me, is it a wooden structure, tenement dwelling, squatter settlement, or a small confined space? It's a small confined space. Next, the best explanation of the dramatic effect of the loudspeaker mentioned in the second stage direction, lines 20 to 21, is that it increases the feeling of expectancy, encourages the characters to be quiet, announces the arrivals and departures, reinforces the hustle and bustle of the setting. And remember, if I'm moving too quickly, you can always pause the video, then write your response, whether it's A, B, C, or D, and then start it again. It increases the feeling of expectancy. Next. Which of the following mostly contributes to humor in the extract? The next time will be my departure, please God. Line 4. A chair, a table, and he hitting you anything from 3 to 5 guineas. Lines 13 to 14. What you want, Belgravia, Park Lane. Maybe you could put she up at the Dorchester. Lines 18 to 19. Do you believe the streets are paved with gold? Line 36. It's this one. What do you want, Belgravia? Remember, he's laughing at his friend. Obviously, his friend does not have much money, so he's making a joke there. The expression waiting like a hawk for tenants, lines 11 to 12, is effective in highlighting the fear of the immigrants, pointing out the birds that flock the venue, emphasizing birds of prey as a metaphor, reinforcing the aggressive nature of the business. And I love that sometimes CXC gives us one really ridiculous answer that we can eliminate right away, like be here, pointing out the birds that flock to the venue. It's kind of funny. See, so the answer is reinforcing the aggressive nature of the business. If you're waiting like a hawk for KFC, for example, you cannot wait to devour that once you get it, right? So this man is waiting like a hawk for tenants who are coming off the boat train. Next, which of the following are used to indicate that the extract portrays a Caribbean experience? Is it language and diction, dress and names of places, tone and reference to a hurricane, reference to a banana plantation, and gold? The answer is language and diction. And you can see here who you're meeting. This is a typical way that we speak in the Caribbean, instead of who are you meeting. And then Moses says some fella named Henry instead of named Henry. Also, fella is a word we tend to use a lot. And boy, I expecting my mother instead of I am expecting my mother. So you can see this is typical of our language and diction. A hurricane can happen anywhere. I don't really see much information about dress, and banana plantation does not necessarily indicate that this is happening in the Caribbean. There are banana plantations all over the world. One of the themes in this extract is traveling by air, dependent countries, searching for a better life, overpopulation, and exploitation. The answer is searching for a better life. Now, some people who have done this before have argued that the answer should be overpopulation and exploitation, but I do not really see how they've reached a conclusion that there is overpopulation. Some of the West Indians are struggling to find housing, but that doesn't necessarily mean that England is overpopulated because they are there. Exploitation I can definitely see with the landlords trying to exploit the tenants. But then you look at overpopulation and exploitation, and those are two different themes that are not necessarily related to each other. They have two different definitions. But the question asks for one of the themes right here. Sometimes you have to be very careful with the wording of these multiple choice questions. Sometimes they can be tricky. That's why I always say to read it 3 times. So some teachers might watch this and disagree with me, but I don't care. Next. Moses' response to the reporter suggests that he is ignorant, is being sarcastic, misunderstood the question asked, fears the reporter might embarrass him. He is being sarcastic. So he mentions his mansion and the roof blowing away. And we know that Moses did not just arrive from Jamaica. So he's just having a little fun with the reporter. Next, Tolroy's reaction to his family's arrival is best described as amazement, and confusion. Next, how do the stage directions in line 42, chuckling, and line 44 in consternation function as an effective guide to the action on stage? They present an indifferent emotional response. They shift the mood from carefree to anticipation. They heighten the suspense about Tolroy's family. They provide a sense of the local community in London. They heighten the suspense about Tolroy's family. And we have reached the end. Easy, right? If not, you keep practicing, keep at it. How did you do? Feel free to tell me in the comments. Also, if you have any questions about anything, it will be my pleasure to respond. I will see you next time. We will tackle the second drama piece on this paper. Goodbye for now.